Hey everybody, this is Steve Benson, and I've got Jackson Eardley with me. We're with Badger Maps, and we're making a short video here to show scissor sharpeners how they can use the Badger Map to better run their business. So first thing I'm going to show you here is how to use the Badger Map to run to kind of organize your time in the field and build a route. So right now we're colorizing the pins in the map. So if you'll to zoom out, here's the area that a scissor sharpener is covering. So the pins in the map are, their salons, their barber shops, their pet groomers, etc. Um, with Badger, you can colorize by what type of thing they are. So here we're showing men's salons in red and women's salons in green and pet groomers in yellow. You could colorize by the sales stage that you're at with them, or are you currently sharpening them, etc. But what I want to jump in and show you is how to use the filters to figure out how to build a route. So um, why don't we colorize by payment type, and so people are cash or credit, and then we're going to go over here and build your route based on a really important thing. When am I due to come back and see them again? So as you use Badger, you basically interact with the customer, and then you just put in Badger when the next time you want to see a certain hair salon is. So all the hair salons on this particular person's territory, you're supposed to see from due today, 0 days until next follow-up, to 107 days sometime in the middle of January. So why don't we put in we're going to filter down to just the ones that are due in the next 2 weeks, because then you can kind of figure, well, if they're due in the next 2 weeks, I can swing by and offer them a sharpening. And so, yeah, and all I'm doing is moving this around, right? So moving this down to 14 would be the next 2 weeks. So now let's build a route. Well, it looks like I've got a cluster here in San Francisco, and I'm trying to figure out what to do tomorrow. So this cluster right here in San Francisco looks pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a route for this group right here. I circle them, and I press create route, and there's my route. I can put in my start location. This is my house, for example, and an end location, and this is my day. And I can press optimize to get the shortest route. You can zoom in and see that, and it's built you a route, and it's given you a schedule as to when you're gonna do that route. It's a pretty easy, clean way to see what you're doing for the day. I can save this route by pressing save. We'll do this tomorrow. We'll call this SF route. So these are the in a matter of, I don't know, 45 seconds or so, I figured out what I'm going to do for the day, when I'll get to different places. I can text message these people. This route is now on my phone, so that I can go through and get directions to each one. Maybe we plan tomorrow. That was pretty easy. Let's maybe there's a cluster over here. Maybe I'll do these tomorrow, and then I'll do kind of these outskirty ones on Thursday. So let's do tomorrow. So tools, I showed you the lasso last time. This time I'll show you the radius tool. This is where you can go a certain distance from a site with a circle. But same concept. I'll build a route. I'm going to put in my address again. Copy that, paste it as my end location. Optimize the route, and there you have it. That's what I'll do tomorrow, just like this. So I'll save that, and we'll save that for, well, the first one was tomorrow, so the next one is Wednesday. We'll call this Berkeley. And now let's do one more. Let's do this kind of outskirty one that I talked about here. Lasso, And we'll just lasso these guys right here. We'll drive from the North Bay across to the East Bay, create a route. Once again, add my start and end location. Just like that. And there's my route, optimize. That's the shortest way to do that. I'm going to go north first, then I'm going to go across, then I'm going to come back over the Bay Bridge back home. It's a longer day. You can see the total hours that I'm out on the road. You can see what the travel time was, distance of 109 miles. That's a bigger driving day than the other two. I'm going to save that route. I'm going to call that North Bay. And I did do that for Thursday. And that is my week. If I wanted to see any of these, I can just bring them right up here. I've got the first route, which was SF, which I'm going to do tomorrow. The second route, that was Berkeley. And I'm going to do that on Wednesday. And then I've got the North Bay on Thursday. So there you have it. And the key is that the key to all of this that's so important, I think, to Sharpeners, and I was just at the conference for Sharpeners a week and a half ago, and which is why I kind of wanted to make this video for people. The key was this being able to build the routes based on when someone's due for their next sharpening. It sounded like a real challenge for people to both decide, okay, I'm going to be in the field, I'm going to be meeting with these customers, I've got to meet with my customers, I've got to spend different amounts of time with each one, and I've got to, and different ones. Some want me to come back every 2 months. Some want me to come back every 4 months. So figuring out when they're due to have me circle back around and and do their sharpening sounded like a real challenge. So building out kind of the plan to manage the territory so that you can spend more time sharpening and less time figuring out where you're going to be sharpening, less time driving and zigzagging around based on who calls you and really needs it. So saving drive time, saving planning time, because you don't get paid when you're not sharpening, right? You get paid for the time that you're actually creating value for customers. So I'd like to show you a few other things. That's one thing we do for Sharpeners, and there's some other things as well. At a high level, I'm just going to run through the things that Badger does for people, and then I'll show you how to actually do it. So Badger is available on all your devices. So those routes that I just saved on the computer here are now available on my mobile device, which is great. We optimize routes, which I showed you, colorizing and filtering. You're going to save about 25% on your mileage. So meaning you're going to drive about 25% less if you're using optimized routes like this. So obviously, ton of gas savings. This piece of software easily pays for itself with what you save in gas. Being able to filter and colorize your accounts to be able to focus in on different types of things, different characteristics of your different things in your territory, and focusing on them, filter by them. It allows you to really get insight into what's going on out in your territory. Where should I be, finding more business? Does it even make sense to do business with this person, or is it just too far out of the way? In terms of like sales and upselling to things like selling actual shears to them or selling other tools, whatever it is, you can focus in on what you want to focus in on. So this understanding of who's due for another round of sharpening is really, really important, and more than anything, when I went to the NBTSG conference, that was the thing that I came away with, was that sharpeners have a pretty big problem with creating routes that make sense, given that different people have these different characteristics around when they want you to come back. It's a really, really complicated math problem that I'm sure people have been trying to do with do in their heads and do on Google Maps. And this planning is basically impossible. And this is a problem that we fix really quickly and easily. So creating these routes and focusing on the right things. Figuring out new leads. I'll show you how to find new hair salons in Badger in a second. And then syncing this across to turn-by-turn navigation, syncing Badger with your calendar, using Google Maps or Waze to avoid traffic and go from place to place where we have integrations with those. So really useful stuff. Check-ins. We'll show you how to do a check-in. So when you actually do a sharpening, quickly and easily creating a record that you've done it, and any notes that you had about it, so that you can easily bring that up before you go and talk to the person again. Really helps you just keep track of things and be more organized at the click of a couple of buttons. So getting reports, so being able to ask, hey, what were the things that I did in August? I'd like a quick, in 2 seconds you can download a report on all the visits you made in August. And then you can start filtering and having a record of that in Excel, and that's super useful. So let me show you a few more things in Badger. I'm going to. I think what I'd like to go over is what kind of information other people are actually saving in Badger, because at the conference I talked to a lot of reps that are a lot of sharpeners that are already using Badger, and so I kind of created this as a sample account based on the different things that I saw them capturing and things that they found useful. So when you click on any of these fields here, you bring up the salon. And this is the type of information that you can save about salons. This is customizable. You don't have to save all this information. You could save more information. These are just samples, right? So this shows when you last did business with this person, when you last did a sharpening for them, or shows their phone number, shows their email, shows the next step. They said they said they wanted you to follow up 10/9, right? Which is why we're gonna do a I saved them for the route for tomorrow. But that's when you met with them 2 months ago, you clicked this and said, well, this is when they next want me to follow up with them. Then it says what days they're open, says their hours, says what type of salon is it? Is it a women's salon, a men's salon, a pet groomer, etc. Shows how much time you need there to do the sharpening, because some people have more shears than other people. So it's nice to kind of, when you're planning your day, be able to say, okay, well, who needs a lot of time, who needs a little bit of time. Shows what sales stage they are. The person in this example did feel this is a shears prospect, could have been a current sharpening customer, etc. What's their payment type? Is it cash? Is it credit card? Is it something else? Great to be able to capture that information and kind of have it all in one place. The sales you've done with them in over time, how often they want you to return. So if you do them again on Wednesday, well, then the next time you should deal with them is in 60 days. So every 2 months on this one. Communication preference, how do they like to be talked to? Is it over text? Is it over email? Is it over a phone call? Do they just want you to drop in at the right time? And are they a mobile customer or a mail-in customer? What's the next step with them? Do they want you to drop by, have a meeting with them, call? What's the priority on this person? Do they want stuff? Do they want it right now or what? And what's the link to their website? So that's kind of the stuff that I saw people saving and use, the ways people are using Badger. What I'd like to do is introduce you to Jackson. Jackson is the person that is going to be the main contact for sharpeners at Badger. I felt like because you guys have this really unique use case and unique challenge in your business, it'd be best to have one person who's kind of set up to help you guys and understands your business and knows how to set your accounts up. And so that's going to be Jackson. So Jackson, do you want to show these guys a few things in Badger?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to switch that screen over to me, I'll get that going.
Yeah, I'll okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Perfect. And yeah, Steve's right. I've worked with a couple of you guys already. Looking forward to working with more. And I understand there's kind of some unique challenges that you guys face. And I think Badger can really help a lot, especially as you get, like looking at our map here, we've got some points that are really close together, which is a little easier to manage. Some of these guys are way out there. And I think that's where you can save a lot of time and generate some extra meetings and some extra money, hopefully, with Badger. So I'll kind of get into the way we store the data. So if you guys have like an Excel sheet of all your customers or just a list of business cards and you want to punch them in, we support both of those. So we'll have an accounts list we'll store for you, and you can click on any of these, right, and pull up their details, zoom over to them. And we need at least just their name and address to map them. But like Steve was saying, if you have all this data you want us to store, we can track what type of salon they are for you. We can track things like sales numbers, whether they're high priority for you, what their next steps are, and then those all important days of, how often do they want to be followed up with, when's the next time you need to be there. And we can use that to kind of like you saw to visualize on the map, so we can colorize on some of these things. And then when it comes to the actual routing, Steve did a great job of showing off how those are built. It's really simple. You select an area, build it out. One thing I kind of want to show is once you're actually running the route, we'll go into the saved route list here. I'll pull up this North Bay route, right? So this one was a little higher in miles and a little more out in the boonies, right? So one thing that you can do, obviously this is going to be some of your least efficient days are coming to hit these more remote locations. So we really want Badger to be able to help you guys drive that extra efficiency and make sure you're not just on the road to see 3 people in an entire day. So where I'll start with that is if you've got current customers that are in the area, one thing you can do is pull them up, see if that's a good fit to add. Maybe if it's only a day or two before then you're supposed to follow up, it's a good fit. This guy's not, obviously, but we can show you that, right? You can be able to visualize those follow-ups and see if anybody fits in a range and if they would be good to add on to the day. The other big thing that we can do that I think is even more helpful is we can search for new prospects for you to hit. So for example, you've got 3 up here in San Rafael, but we're only going to be seeing one of them on this particular route. So what we can do is go into where it says places here. This is our search tool to search the map for new leads for you. So if we have a list here already. We'll remember what you searched for in the past. You don't have to keep typing it in. But if I click on dog groomer, for example, it'll pop up all the dog groomers we can find in San Rafael. And we get not only their name, but oftentimes website, hours, lots of information. So if you want to qualify them, make sure they're a good fit, it's easy to do that. And same with hair salon, right? If I hit hair salon, there's every hair salon we can find in San Rafael, which should be just about all of them. So if you click into these, you get their names again, details, websites, hours. You can make sure they're going to be open during the time you're going to be in town, right? And
And
then if
note that you can do different things to approach these guys, right? You can just drop in on them, and you can easily save them to your map here. And Jackson can show you how to just save one of these and save their information in Badger. But you can also you can send them a mailing. You can call them on the phone and ask them how they're currently getting their sharpening done. We have very, very good information about where are the hair salons, where are the dog groomers, and these things open and close all the time, obviously. So this can be a really useful way for you to get up to date information, and Badger's a really cool source for this data for you guys. So could you show them how they can just save this information that they've found in Badger
yeah,
as a
absolutely.
lead?
And I think one of the big advantages too is we have it on your map. So if you're trying to visit somebody and drop off like a business card or a flyer, right? You can see we're already on the same street for these guys, right? So hitting some of these points that are nearby is no extra time on your day. So if we go to this Supercuts, for example, if we want to save them and add them onto the route, it's one click to save their information. We'll pre-populate what we know about them. And if you want to give any of your custom information and assign that to them, you can. So for example, like your next step, right? Maybe drop off flyer is our step here. And then if they're a new Shear prospect, we could assign that if you want to track that. Once they're created, they're treated just like all the other pins in Badger. And it's a single click from there to add them onto your route. So you could really quickly go through and add in several places as long as they look like good fits, right? You check them out really quickly, add them in, and keep adding them to the route. And then if we go back and re-optimize that route at the end, which I'll do right here, you'll see after we hit this optimize button, it's going to just tag them on along the way. And we haven't really added any drive time. Our drive time was at 2 hours and I think it was 45 minutes before. We've added 12 minutes on and we've got 3 more stops, right? So especially on these routes where you're going out to kind of more remote areas, which I know is a pretty common thing for sharpeners, can help a lot to grab extra leads and extra work to do along the way.
Really cool.
And then I'll show you really quick what happens as far as how we track your meetings. So once you're running these routes, this will basically appear the exact same way on your phone. You can use that to navigate between points. And then you just go into their details here. You have this little button that says check-in, just like this on your phone. And then you can log what kind of meeting it was, whether you called them, whether you walked in the door, whatever the notes you want to leave, right? And we save that with a timestamp in the history for each account. So you can go in, on your way in the door, you can look at past meetings and see what the notes were.
And this is really helpful to have like a quick on your way into a meeting glance. Where was I with this? What happened before? What are the details of this person? Just makes your conversations better. Makes, if the person, loves the 49ers or whatever team, you can remember that, and you can ask them about how, about anything, right? Just how many kids do they have? Whatever the thing is that you like to talk about with them, you can just jot down here. And, no, for a sharpener that has 200 people that they're dealing with on a regular basis, it's just impossible to remember all that stuff. But if you have it right at your fingertips all the time, makes you a better salesperson, makes you kind of connect with your customers better.
Mm-hmm. And we even offer a general notepad too. If you don't want it to be tied to any one meeting, if it's like a nickname for them or a code to get in the building or something, you can always write it down in here too. And all of this stuff is synced across your devices. So if you take some notes on your phone on the way out, they'll be back on the computer when you get back to the office.
Yeah, good example of that. He just brought up on his computer the route that I just made on my computer, and he's in our Salt Lake City office, and I'm in our San Francisco office, and so yeah. we're in different places right now. And but it works the same on your phone, right? If you save a route on your or make a change to something on your computer, it shows up on your phone, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing I think with logging those meetings and tracking those notes is if you ever need reporting on any of that, we have that all in here. So you can see an easy graph of how many meetings you're logging per day, right? You can make sure that your activity is where you want it to be. And then you also can set any kind of custom time frame here. You can export the check-ins, so you get all the meeting notes and all the account details if you want to. So if you wanted to do, for example, a call list of everybody you sharpened in the last month, and you want to, call in and offer some, new service or see if they have any new stores opening, you can export those check-ins, get your notes on who you met with, and start calling. And same goes for email blasts, or any kind of future planning. If you ever need a report on what you've been doing and where those accounts are, you can have that at any time in Excel.
Yeah, a lot of people like to make when I was chatting with people at the conference, they talked about how they were using this to text message a bunch of people. So they would use the lasso tool to kind of lasso an area, and then all the people in that area would come up, and they could just go through and send them all the same text message really quickly, and reach out to a bunch of people, and saying, hey, I'm going to be in the neighborhood, do you want me to swing by and do a sharpening? And so
Yeah.
they could quickly and easily geographically text message people.
Yeah, which is super easy too. I'll show you really quick how we would do that actually. So if we go to visualize, one of the things that we're tracking in the sample data here is communication preference, right? So you know how people want you to talk to them. So we've got right here, call, drop in, email, text. So if you wanted to, for example, text everyone that's given you a number you can text, you could come in here into the filter side, filter down to just those texting people. And then if you wanted to get a quick export of, maybe you just want to text everyone in the Bay Area, right? You can go in here, go to tools, lasso them, and export just those 4 into Excel. So you've really got a lot of tools at your fingertips to grab customer data in any way you need. So whether that's, thinking about looking for new prospects, advertising, or just reaching out to touch base, right? You can drill down to any kind of segment you want really quickly.
Yeah, I saw people actually do this with emails specifically. So the people like they exported all their accounts in an area that they were going to be dump people's emails into a spreadsheet, and they could just copy it and drop that right into their Gmail BCC line and send that group of people an email being like, "Hey, I'm going to be in the Sacramento region on the 24th. So let me know if you'd like me to swing by." And they built their route based on that.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. And then the same goes with the follow-up date. So if you run an entire route and you want to make sure you're following up with those people, rather than having to, you know, go into each one, you can go into each one by one and update the follow-up date. You can do the same thing right in here. If you knew that these guys were all going to, if you texted these four, for example, and they all agreed to have you come in on, November the 5th, you could come into here, just click mass update on the list of people, and then assign them a new follow-up date really quickly, and assign
Sure.
anything in here that you want.
Yeah, just make those all follow up on the 9th of October, just to
Yeah,
show them how easy this
absolutely.
is.
So we got our follow-up date down here. I can go put October 9th, and they update immediately. And that'll show if you go into any of the details for them, you'll see in here, if I click on any of these four, like Margaret's Cuts, October 9th, they're all going to show that now. And that update's not just on this one device, but like Steve said, across all of your devices. So if you need to do things quickly on your phone, you can lasso with your finger on your phone and start updating accounts if you need it.
Well, great guys. I think this has been we've kind of just shown a few of the things that Badger does because we wanted to keep this quick and simple. There is a full training of all the things that Badger does, but I think these kind of show the key things that are really useful to sharpeners. We have a kind of a more in-depth full training video. If you just go to our website, Badger Maps, just you can Google Badger Maps and go to our support page, and it's got a training for how to use this on the phone or on the computer. We've got different training videos, so those are useful to go after and check out. Feel free to reach out to Jackson. Jackson is kind of your guy here. What's the best way to reach you, Jackson?
So I've got my direct line. That's 801-890-3174. And then if any of you guys start a trial, we'll be in touch. We try to reach out to every new trial person. So if you mention that you're a sharpener, if we don't already know that based on your email or whatever, if you mention that, then they'll hook you up and send you over to me, and I'll get you all my contact info that way too. You can also email me anytime at Jackson, that's Jackson, at badgermapping.com.
Yeah, that's a great way to get going. Just reach out to Jackson, and he'll get your points in the map here really quick. He'll set you up, and then he'll show you how to start building routes here. It's a lot easier to set this up than one might guess. I mean, when I was at this conference the other day, I just literally sat there setting people up the whole time. And it's just like set up, set up, set up, and it's a quick, easy thing to do, and it'll save you a ton of time, ton of money going forward. But anyway, I will stop the recording, but it's been I hope this has been helpful, guys. Have a great one.